Ron Rohde here. Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2018 Volvo S90. This is a long-term interior review. We're going to take a look at the high touch points, steering wheel, armrests, seat bolsters, and see how this leather and other quality materials have aged over time. I drive this car a lot. It's my daily driver. And I have a small daughter as well that has added to some of the dirt going inside the car. Starting in the interior, the steering wheel has aged pretty well. What you'll notice is that it starts off with a matte sheen, which has held up well, and it has not transformed into a very glossy look that some other steering wheels have tended to become. The high gloss plastic here has been resistant to scratches and really has maintained the firm touch quality. The center console here, again, high touch points at the shift lever. All of the doors have stayed pretty smooth. I don't close this often, but it is still working well. Same for the front. So if we look here, you can see this knurled aluminum adjustment for the mirror. It's really well made. It's held up well, and this has been bumped against, but it's proven to be very durable, and it's not like a flimsy traditional vent adjustment tool. Another nice feature about the interior, well-documented Swedish flag. This is a nice touch that you don't see on a lot of other manufacturers' cars. This is another nice feature. You can see it engraved here on the seat belts, which is since 1959, which was when Volvo introduced the first 3-point safety belt as standard on their cars, and they like to tout that in their marketing material. If you look at this passenger seat, which does have a fair number of uses, the headrest is in great shape. This is a textured leather and hasn't had any wear or other negative outcomes. This driver's side bolster is probably the highest wear point on the entire interior, and you can see that some of it has started to get a shine or a bit of a sheen, but it's not bad for the amount of miles on the car. Again, this higher bolster, you can see the distinction between the original leather color and some of the lower bolster where it's starting to get some creases and a smoother worn finish. These interior touch plates are really nice. These are a solid piece of aluminum. You can see, again, any gloss finishes on the interior have not produced any scratches in over 30,000 miles. And in any of these high touch piano black pieces, no scratches, still lit on the backlit, and the buttons have a nice metallic feel, so they're very positive motion. You can tell when you've depressed the buttons, and same for the door handle. It's very solid. Let's take a look at some of these interior buttons. Again, it has that same piano gloss finish, and I do touch a lot of these buttons, you know, maybe like the sunroof. I touch the interior cabin lights, but they really haven't shown scratches. They've stayed very clean, and haven't had any issues with this area of the car, even though we're touching it auto, you know, for the lights coming on when you open the door. So let's take a look at the touchscreen. This is also going to produce a longer video where I'm going to solely focus on the touchscreen, but as part of the interior review, I'd like to look at some of the touchscreen and talk about the responsiveness, as the car has now aged for 2 years with one major update. Here we have some of the normal functions that are usually occupied by a physical button. Traction control can be turned off digitally. We have a 360 camera degree. You're able to look at the car here. Side view is unavailable if a door is open, so that's something that we don't have. This is the home button, similar to an Apple iOS setup. It's very intuitive for a lot of people. Corner illumination. Again, all of these features are pretty responsive, even for 2 years old. I've seen some other models that after a couple years, the responsiveness just isn't there anymore. We have text messages connected to your phone here. And you can see, again, in general, it's very snappy. We can go to, oh, there was a missed touch there. Navigation, full screen, You can see how quickly it zooms in and out. Can recenter, orient the map towards north. I could understand that taking some time. Set destination. We have all your normal features. We have favorites. We have recent destinations. And again, it takes a little bit of time, but that's a pretty normal representation of how the map goes. So all in all, it's a good system. We have manual tuning, we have FM, we have Bluetooth to connect to your phone, we have the FM, we have text messaging. This is a soft key. This can switch to any other feature. So if I have driver performance, this bottom image will switch over to whatever soft mode you want to pick. So preferences there. That gives you, if you touch the home button twice, this will give you little instructions. Drag down for settings, horizontal to access the windows, press and hold home button to turn the screen off. I definitely turn the screen off sometimes when I'm driving, if it's at night or I just don't want the distraction of alerts. I can hold the home button and there you see it goes blank, and your AC controls, your climate controls stay a little bit gray. Press it once to turn back on. You have your car status. Again, this goes in that soft key. So we have navigation always, media, we have your iPhone, or we have a phone if it's connected, and then this is a soft button that can change a lot. So we have oil level, tire pressure settings. Again, it doesn't tell you the PSI, but it will tell you the relative pressure to the other tires. And it's got kind of a neat underground view of the car. Appointments, how many days I have for services. You have a few more apps down here that you can download and pay for. But again, overall, the internet speed is very fast, and it's a responsive touchscreen that is aged well and hasn't become very glitchy. It hasn't become very slow. And for doing normal day-to-day activities, it's still a very useful, practical screen. So heated seats, for example, boom, I have heated seats on. This is almost as good and reliable as having physical buttons without using up all of this valuable hardware. Heated steering wheel. A nice feature is usually the heated steering wheels just have on or off. It's a binary position. Whereas in the Volvo, we have 3 different settings, and the highest heat setting, it gets very toasty. It will be hot on your hands. I usually end up putting it at the lowest or the second to lowest setting if I want a heated steering wheel. I missed button there. But again, you still have your physical controls here, which is the main ones: volume, pause or play, which is I use as on and off. You have skip forward and backwards. You have defrost functions. You don't have to go into the screen for that. And then the emergency hazard lights are a physical button as well. So let's take a look at the back seat. I want to talk about these rear controls a little bit more. They're very useful. They are not just for an executive type riding. We use the rear controls, I would say, every time we put our daughter in the back. We're always adjusting the seat forward to fit more storage, or if we want to put the car seat in without banging it on other parts of the seat. And if you are riding in the back, it is useful for my wife. She can open the sunroof, she can open the shade. That feature is not so useful, but it can be nice. Again, from the rear seat, you can control both windows. So let's take a look at this rear leg room. I have the seat pretty far adjusted forward, but you can see how the seat's moving. So this would be a lot of legroom, I think, in a normal mid-series sedan. But with these controls, you're able to move it way forward. You could have a laptop, tilt the screen back. It's very comfortable. Let's take a look at the sunroof. As well as opening. So let's take a look at this rear center console. It flips down. You've got a pass through here. You've got some nice storage. It's a decently sized, thin, it's flat, but you can fit storage. This is a great tray. You know, we put snacks, we put cell phones, anything can fit in this one. And then the cup holders, again, they have a soft rubber in here, and they're really just very easy to use. Everything on this car has held up well. I would say that the quality has been on par with a lot of the reliable Japanese sedans that it's competing against. The Volvo is going to distinguish itself again with the safety record and some of the technology, and of course the styling is very subjective, but I think the car looks great. Here we can see this rear center console. The touchscreen still works very well. And again, anything gloss black hasn't shown a lot of scratches. I think it's just catching the angle, but those aren't actually scratches, it's just some dirt. These vents have been very reliable, as well as exposing these two USB chargers here get a lot of wear, as well as an additional cigarette lighter. Another nice feature is how the lights come on. You know, you don't get a jarring, you get a slow glow here. And for the same thing when you turn it off. It's not a jarring feature, which is really a nice luxury touch. So now we'll take a look at the back boot of this Volvo S90. You can see I've debadged mine since the original video. I think it really makes it have a cleaner look. And tailpipes still stock. And again, the rear has been well used. I apologize for the dirtiness, but we just made a Home Depot run. So the materials, it's a little bit of a shallow pile carpet, which keeps wear better and doesn't hold as much dirt in, and allows you to slide heavier things all the way in the back there. But this really is a spacious trunk, and it's quite functional if you're willing to slide items all the way forward. I hope you've enjoyed this long-term, in-depth view of the 2018 Volvo S90 interior. I've taken a look at how different features and functions have aged, especially this gloss black piano finish and the leather, how it's held up with frequent use, you know, spills and frequent cleanings. But overall, I've been really happy with the car, and nothing is broken on the interior, and there haven't been any areas that show high amounts of wear other than the seat bolsters, again, which is kind of normal, and then the pebbled leather. There's been a little bit of wear, smoothness on the grain. But other than that, the car has been great, and hopefully you can watch the rest of the video and see exactly where we have any issues. So thanks for watching, and hit subscribe if you were looking for more Volvo S90 content. Thanks.